Oh, so we're dead there. Yeah, and that's why. Your brother Olive is still crazy. Your brother Olive is still.
Don't want to see have a look.
Your thing still.
Nottingham, we're here.
Come on.
Yup. Brother family, everyone's representing still. Easy Herb Chris, 24.
Building with the family, you don't know, always.
We're out here, definitely.
We're Nottingham, Birmingham, we know no
yeah.
We know no
Long drive, 3-hour drive still. But we still make that effort, you know? Especially for the community, boy. Easy here to try to kick the health as well, yeah? And the science. That's why Eazi's here, you know, representing Eazi Herbs and Forever Family, yeah?
Must have been around.
Hello?
Power.
I charge you. If I was balanced, I'm off with me to charge you. But I'm not balanced, I'm off with so.
Let me just stop it now. Just stop it.
Yeah, let's press the top button. Listen, Mia. Where you at? Nottingham.
Check one. Wanna send warm greetings. Soundman, levels. Check. Nice. Just want to welcome everyone here right now to Don't Hate, Elevate, Knots Community Connection with the community, NXG Movement, Eazi Herbs, More Lions, Windrush, Jay's Community Connection. We have so many people here today ready to share a word, ready to share some education. Or edumentated, I don't even know how it goes, edutainment. But it's entertainment for the mind, the heart and the soul. And we're here connecting together in love and harmony. So today, I hope that you all enjoy what we're about to put on for you. We got some great artists, we got some great speakers, we got some lovely food. Big shouts out to him and shouts to everyone that made it down today. I'm Trisha Elevator O'Neill, and right now we're gonna bring on one of our speakers. Going to tell you who that is shortly, and we're going to get the day going, get the afternoon going. We've had a few little technicalities, I ain't gonna lie, but you know what, we'll never be defeated, okay? No matter what they do, we're seeds, so we keep growing, all right? And we keep learning, we keep moving, we keep doing what we've got to do. So without further ado, I would like to call Gloria, sorry, I haven't got my notes with me, how embarrassing. Gloria G, is she here with us? Oh, you're there, brother, sis. All right, sis. Are they not here? Okay. So they're not here. So Simon, if we just, I'm going to rock some music and then just line up the next speaker and then we'll kick it off, all right? There's some connection with us. He's none other than Brother Jay from the Community Connection Frontline. My bad. Jay from Community Frontline, please. Give him a round of applause, everyone, please. Come on, we can do better than that. Make some noise.
Like, Community Frontline, me and my brother, one of brothers extra, that's got man in action and woman in action. We formalised Community Frontline on the basis of defending the helpless, the poor, the needy, more or less the women and the children, because we noticed that there was a lot of males that's out here but not really representing as we thought that males should represent or take charge and stand as we say that man should stand. So we formed the Community Frontline in the sense of anybody that cares about their community and that's on the front line, that they will actually be the frontline members for the community. So we be policing our own community, we be taking care of issues that affect our community, just like many other organizations and grassroots organizations and people do, you know what I mean? Right. So we're just playing a part, and I'm just playing a part of the grander plan to actually change narratives. You know, the system's already there, the system's gonna be there, but we can change narratives within the system and we can unify and do certain things that actually beneficial to us and the women and the children, then there's no stopping us. So that's just my little blessings, and that's just my little thing, and that's what we do. Do you know what I mean? So peace, love, blessings, and power to all and everybody that's here and everybody that's wherever you are. Just keep doing what you're doing, man, and keep fighting the fight. Because no one ever said it's going to be easy. But as long as we're all together and we can push together and do what we need to do together,
Come on, man.
that's the main thing.
That's
So
right.
peace, love, blessings. Thank you everyone for airing me, listening to me. Power, honor, glory, and majesty to the Most High. Push, where you there? There you go, my dog.
Thank you so much, Brother Jay, for that. That was awesome, absolutely awesome. Thank you. I'm looking for my other speaker here. Are they here? No? Okay. Selector, can you play some music for me, please, while we move on to the next speaker for this afternoon? As we continue with more of our Knots community connection right here, our fun day, I'd like to now introduce to you to the stage a wonderful young brother who is so passionate about health. And if there's anything you know about me and Social Elevator, I'm all about holisticness, so mind, body and soul, and about our health. And one of the main things for me is being able to tap into our alternative ways of healing ourselves. So I'd like to introduce to you right now a wonderful brother. He goes by the name of Eazi Herbs. Eazi Herbs. Yeah? Okay, all right, so we're just gonna get Eazi Herbs. 1 second. Eazi Herbs, if you can hear us. You need it, you need it, you need it. Shouts out is a community event, it's a community celebration of life. And if you want to come out, please feel free to come, but please don't call the police. We are loving, beautiful people. We're here just to bring some peace, have some fun, and you know, just come and join us, do you know what I mean? But don't call the police, all right? We won't be long. Much love, number 53, if you want to come over, all right? Cool. Selector. By my name, I am ready to roll. Once the rules remain the same, I will so levels. Okay, so we have our speaker, Eazi Herbs, is going to come and share some wonderful information to you about how to heal, how the body works, and how you can work with it. Okay, so please put your hands together for our brother Eazi Herbs. Come on, make some noise, people. Make noise, make noise.
Love family, 1 2 1 2. Eazi Herbs, yeah, first time speaker as well, so I'm a little bit nervous and everything, yeah. But I want people to interact with me, you know, I'm trying to kick some knowledge, you know. Yeah. So, questions as well, yeah. So, who knows about the origin of life?
Come on.
Yeah. Can anyone help me with it? No? I read a term called abiogenesis. Yeah. This is the origin or a theory or hypothesis of how organisms turn into what you know and what we are at today. Yeah. So we're dealing with like fundamental factors. Yeah. The 4 fundamental factors that is provided for life to exist. Yeah. We have to be dealing with things like DNA and RNA. Yeah. Which is the nitrogen bases. Yeah. We got lipids, yeah, which is the fats, yeah, and you got carbohydrates, yeah, and then you also have amino acids, yeah, which is the proteins, yeah. These are the fundamental factors that we all live by, yeah. These are codes, you know, yeah. So this is a theory called abiogenesis, yeah. You can look at it, but the thing is, it's a theory, it's a scientific theory, because we all know, yeah, there's facts behind it, but it's not been proven. So we can look at it and we can learn from it, yeah. So now we're gonna push a little bit more forward here, which dates back to about 3.5 billion years ago. There's a bacteria which is known as the cyanobacteria. Yeah, there's a few other bacteria and microorganisms that existed at this time. This is where there was the birth of earth, air as well. Yeah, so this bacteria produced air on this earth about 3.5 billion years ago, with the photosynthesis with the sun as well producing oxygen. Yeah, so this is the birth of oxygen as we know. Yeah, so if we look at bacteria, yeah, we understand that bacteria are prokaryotic. Yeah, prokaryotics are cells without no organelles. Yeah, the mitochondrial, the endoplasmic reticular, and the Golgi apparatus. Yeah, so we know that this is the origin of what we know now as cells. Yeah, because after that it breeds. We know that bacteria multiply by what is called binary fusion. Yeah, which is this the DNA reduplicates and then separates from the cell, making a twin cell. So we know how bacteria is produced. Yeah, so now this is the birth of what we call as eukaryotics. Yeah, eukaryotics are cells that we have in our body. Yeah, eukaryotic cells, yeah, is with these organelles. The organelles are the endoplasmic reticulum, the Golgi apparatus, and all these functions that help us live up to now. Yeah, so we know that the bacteria, which is the cyanobacteria, breeds all these types of microorganisms. Yeah, now we've moved a little bit forward because now this is all got to do with health. So don't think I'm just going to speak about microorganisms, because it goes back to health. Yeah. Go ahead, brother. So now we know, yeah, these microorganisms have breed what we call as eukaryotics or cells. Yeah, we understand that they kind of split off again and then created what we know as algae. Yeah, the cyanobacteria created seaweed. So we know seaweed, the red algae. We all know about the spirulina, the chlorella, the sea moss, and all of them. And we know that these is our origin. The ocean is our origin. Yeah, we have viruses and microorganisms and archaea that lives within inside the ocean. Yeah, so there's a lot in store for us, especially when it comes to evolution and etc. Yeah, so we go back to the algae. So we know that the cyanobacteria splits off and create what we know as algae. Yeah, the algae goes off, produces what we know as oxygen as well. So majority of the oxygen that we breathe in, we think it comes from the tree, but actually 20% of the oxygen comes from the tree. 80% comes from the actual algae, the seaweed. So while we're out here and there's all this pollution in the sea and all of that, we have to take care of our ocean, because this is the origin of what our life is. Yeah, and then now we know that through ourselves, we know we created what we know as humanoids. Yeah, so just to just jump that, because there's some holes in the evolution, so they ain't fully understood the science and the biology behind how we come forth here, but we know that there's some scientific factors that we can all live by. So we know that we now as humanoids, yeah, the Homo sapiens sapien, the original man, yeah, we have what we called in our colon, yeah, which is our large intestine, small intestines. We have what we call the microbiome. Yeah, the microbiome is microorganisms, the same microorganisms that predate us to about 3.5 billion years ago. They live inside of us, yeah, in our colons, and they're in control. The average, the factor that I will say, yeah, there's a 37.2 trillions of cells on the average human being, yeah? So, microorganisms and bacteria and archaea is 10 times more, yeah? So, if you look at it in a way as the fact that when we consider ourselves who we are individually, there's only 10.1% of who we are as individuals. So we are identical because the microorganisms outnumber us by 10 times. So technically we're identical through the fact that we have microorganisms. These microorganisms that live and harbor in our colon, they influence us. So we need to understand, when we deal with dietary, we need to look at them as our friends, our underlying co-hosts within our vessel, which is our human body. We co-live inside with these microorganisms. Without them, we wouldn't be able to fight against a common cold. Yeah, we get introduced to these microorganisms from when we leave the womb, yeah, and even to the fact of breastfeeding. So we need these microorganisms. When we breastfeed, the first form of dose of microorganisms help the development of our brain, yeah, turn our brain into what we call a cerebral cortex, you know, because we know we got the certain development of how our brain end up into the neocortex as we're using up to now, yeah. So it also helps with our immune system. So we identify that it communicates with B cells and T cells within our immune system. And it also can send and does send hormones, which is serotonin, dopamine, and etc. via gateways like what we called as the enteric nervous system, or the peripheral nervous system, because there's a few different functions of that nervous system. Bacteria, microorganisms are on our skin. They're everywhere. They live with us. They help us protect us. Yeah. So when we look at dietary, as I deal with mostly, we understand that we need to look after our microorganisms. We need to understand what these microorganisms feed off and what they generate their energy from. Then we have to look at what food deteriorates them, what food actually attacks them. Then we can have a clearer understanding of how it affects us as humans, because it affects our brain and it can fix our mood, and it can actually turn to an addiction. Have you feeling for food that is not wanted for the cells, because it coincides with the cells. It feeds the cells. Yeah. So and it even communicates. Cells communicate through chemical signals using neurotransmitters. We've got bacteria that communicate via biofilms, which is electrical chemicals. Yeah. So we know that these cells and bacteria all coincide and they all correlate and communicate with each other. We know that there's certain foods that attack the microbiome. Yeah. So certain fibers, there's 7 different types of fibers. We got resistant starch, we got inulin. Yeah. So we need to do a little bit more of a research of what helps the microbiome thrive and be strong, because these microorganisms, there's viruses with them as well. They attack what you call pathogens. Pathogens are what the viruses that are actually out there to attack us. To attack us. So, is that time up? Yeah. So yes, yeah. So pathogens are the microorganisms, as we know, like COVID-19. To say all the different types of viruses that are out there, flu, the common cold, etc., that actually attacks us. These microorganisms within our colon, they fight with the immune system to get rid of these pathogens. Yeah. So we need to look after these microorganisms. They come by the trillions. Yeah. They outnumber our cells, so it determines how our behavior is, how our mood, our sanity, depression, and etc. So when we feed them with dietary like resistant starch and inulin, you know that you're doing your body justice. Yeah, they feed off unsoluble fiber, the fiber that can't get digested by the small intestines. It gets pushed through to the large colon, and it's a feces for the microorganisms. Yeah, so we need to understand green bananas and things and etc. We need to utilize these microorganisms branches that has went off and then created supplements, what we know as bacteria, algae, fungi, and what we know as herbs. The herbs come from the green algae. We know all this lifestyle that we're living outside of the ocean is formed by the seaweed. So that's Eazi's build. Just look after your microbiome. That's your first form of dietary, and then we can go through. But then Eazi Herbs, kick some more knowledge. Check out Eazi Herbs YouTube channel, and Eazi Herbs on Instagram. I kick more. Any questions about the microbiome, I can kick it more, and that's me. I'm Eazi's out, yeah. So blessings.
Hey, black man. Scientist.
Come on, we do better than that. Come on. Give it up for the scientists. This is our youth here. This is our youngers. These are our next generation that are coming up, people. And we need to support them, okay? We have amazing community of people. We have everything that we're searching for within our community. Everything that we're looking for outside of us is all inside of us, okay? We have it, business, schools, We have it, medication, everything, we do it. We have it all. And what we need to do is come together as one, drop all of the ism and schism, people. Seriously, enough is enough now. Because if there's one thing I have learned, that war is not working. The division that we have between us is not working. The backbiting is not working. The skin color issue is not working.
Yes.
You understand? The big lips, the broad hips, the browning, it's not working. The religion, it's not working. The baby father issue, the baby mother issue, it's not working.
Yes.
What do we all desire? What we desire is peace.
Yes.
And peace is within us. Peace is within us, people. Stop looking on the outside for peace. Stop looking on the outside for love. Stop looking at your man for love. Stop looking at your woman for love. Stop looking at everyone else to love you. Love yourself.
Preach it. Yes.
Love yourself, people. And if you seek that love from within yourself, guess what? The most amazing and abundant love and information is going to come to you to bring everything love into your mind, your heart, and your soul. Do you understand me? Because we're all here for a purpose. We chose this moment to be here. Regardless of how it looks, regardless of how it seems, we're here for a purpose. We all have a mission.
Yeah.
Every one of us have a position and a mission. That's purpose. And purpose is within you. So what's your life been like? That's where you'll realize where your purpose is. If you've had a painful life, then maybe you're a healer because you're still here. If you've had a crazy life, then maybe you're a mental health occupational person. Go and check out mental health and work within the community of your own people on mental health, because who feels it knows it.
Yeah.
Your pain will introduce you to your purpose.
Yeah.
And I know we as melanated people have gone through enough pain. Let's embrace the purpose. I'm Trisha Elevator O'Neill. I want to thank everyone for being here. The Don't Hate Elevate, Knots Community Connection. This is why we don't hate. Hate is the opposite to love. If you don't love yourself, then what you're doing, you're hating yourself. And if you hate yourself, you can't love no one else. That's fake.
Yes.
And we need to start taking off those masks. Because so in the spirit, look, we got masks on, we're hiding behind makeup, weave, and all these things that we're hiding behind. And now they've actually given us a physical mask to hide ourselves. And we've just fallen for the okie doke, thank you. Yeah, drinking the Kool-Aid. Stop drink the Kool-Aid, man. Because it's full of E numbers and sugar and things. It's rotting out your mind, it's rotting out your blood, your bones, and everything. I say take a cleanse and love self. I say take a cleanse and think positively about yourself and about your people. I hear you say you're tired. There's a lot of us that are tired. We've heard it all before, I know. Yeah, we're going to go for freedom. Yeah, we're going to go and do this. But guess what? Once you have life, there is always a way. And the way is unity. And I just want to thank everyone that's came today. From London, all over have come. And in spite of it all, we're here, we're having a great time, we're bringing our positive energy. We want you to come and do the same thing. You know, if you're not able to make it, please look out for the next one, because there will be another one. Yeah. Without further ado, though, I want to give thanks to the sun.
Yeah, sun just bless you one time.
Glory.
Right. Bring the sun out.
So right now, we've even got a dog coming, he smelt the food. Okay, so right now we have another wonderful speaker that's going to come on. In fact, I want some a little entertainment right now. Who wants some entertainment? Who wants to hear some music right now? Yeah? We can't hear you. No?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
If you're not loud enough, I can't call on the musician, you know. Okay. So we're going to get a one track right now before we bring on the next speaker, just to change it up a little bit, because I am so excited to have this brother here today, okay, in my presence. I feel absolutely privileged and I'm humbled, because he is such a powerful brother, right? He's spreading a message that is controversial for some, but because of his confidence and because he knows who he is, he don't give a damn. And I'm glad he don't give a damn, because the message that he is spreading is a message we need to hear. It's a message of unity. It's a message of fight for what's right. Don't just fight for the sake of fighting. Fight for what's right. And what we do today is for our youth tomorrow. And this wonderful brother here is going to bring it, and he's bringing it hard, and he's bringing it for the youth of tomorrow. I want you to put your hands together. I want you to make some crazy Longmead, Bestwood, Nottingham noise inside here. I can't hear you. For Too Badder. Too Badder is here. Brother, much love.
Yeah. Nottingham, let me make some noise inside. I know we don't do this thing, but I hear people out there. You need to come inside. Yeah. Big up, sister. You done know already. Brother Leo, you know the thing set already. Well, you know we're here, innit? Unity. That's why we've come. We've come to support our sister. Travelled up the motorway just to show our love. You know it go already. Yeah, let me make some noise for sister, just for the unity. They try to stop the team. They try to lock off the first venue. We move to somewhere else. They try to lock off the second venue. No sir, we're here, right here. So make some noise for our sister, for the perseverance. Can't pull us down. Yeah. Now yeah, I'm an artist. My name's Too Badder. Activist rapper. Social issues rapper. Anything that don't look right rapper. One of those rappers, yeah. So engineer, you got any tracks in there for me? Gonna drop a one tune in there, let me see. What instrumentals you got in there for me, sis? Let's see what they got, because I know they nearly played one earlier. So yeah, I got a couple tracks that I'm gonna do. Not that one. Yeah, not that one. I'm gonna do that one later. Alright, let's get going. Now this track's entitled One Voice. I was traveling up and down the country. Everyone's asking me, after the marching and the protesting, what's next, brother? I said, unity is what's next. This is what we're doing here, is what's next. It's your boy Too Badder, let's go. So all we need is one voice talking. We've been screaming for justice since the slave ships were brought in. Now the world's caught wind of what it's like when the system's racist and you black and you caught in it. No matter which patch I go, up and down the country it's beautiful seeing black businesses grow. The same questions on everybody's lips though. After the marching, protesting, then what's next, brother? That's why we need one voice, a nationwide collaboration, and really we got no choice. Could they love to see us scattered and separated? But we know unity is where power's generated. Trying to line it up for the next those melanated. And when we get together, Lord knows we know they hate it. But we've been on the ropes like ducking and weaving, and we could barely cope, but we've just kept breathing. It's time to punch back, let's go. I'm flipping everything. Soul's on fire right now. I'm spitting everything. Every black business I know, I'm linking everything. North, south, east and west, only let's bring it in now. We frustrated, no doubt, cause up until now we couldn't see a way out. If you really want to fight to change the system around, this is what Badder's about. Only the time is now. One voice, one voice. Shout out to Cookie on the vocals. One voice, one voice. It's a unity thing. We all need to be singing from one voice, one voice. Yo, woman crew, let me hear you. One voice, one voice. Two, oh my. All we need is one voice for the youth. They ain't got many options. If we're really gonna speak the truth, we're quick to say they rude. But if you listen a little closer, there's pain in his attitude. My younger, you ain't gotta fight your brother. Let's take that energy and both fight the government. Young sister, you ain't gotta be no IG model. Don't you know the crew got you, sister? Give her a cuddle. Everybody gotta die someday. What's your purpose, Don? Mine's my kid's future, to make sure the hurt is gone. Hot plate of truth is the platter I'm serving from. Think I'm standing by and watching these murders going on. So all community leaders, all public speakers, all master teachers, anybody with influence, chat to your people. Malcolm X was the preview, this is the sequel. By any means necessary, fight for my people. Look how much Marcus Garvey did without no streaming. Then I'm steaming, ancestors, no more dreaming. We gonna unite the whole of our people with one voice, one voice. Let me hear you make noise, let me hear you. One voice, one voice. Shout out to One voice, one voice. One more time for them. One voice, one voice. To all my people. One voice, one voice. All we need is one voice, one voice. Bada bada Nottingham, just we telling them one voice, one voice. From London to Nottingham and back again. When we say one voice, one voice. To all my people. Bada bada. We make some noise now. Yeah, we're just warming them up. We're just warming them up. Yo. What you saying, Trish? Yeah, we're just gonna give you a one for now and then we're gonna hand over, yeah.
Yes! One voice!
Yes.
One voice, that's what we need.
Yes.
One voice, because it's one goal. We got one mission. All it takes is one voice. Unity is strength, and there's power in agreement. There's power in the agreement. Thank you too, Bada. We'll be hearing from him again shortly. At this point now, I'd like to call Sister G from More Lions community. Some of us already know her here, but some of you from London do not know her. She's part of a wonderful community that is making changes here as well, especially with the youth and the wider audience, and spreading a positive message, especially when it comes to gang-related stuff and so on and so forth. But I'll let our wonderful sister Gloria explain a little bit more and give you a little talk about More Lions. Thank you, Gloria.
Greetings, everybody. I just want to first thank Sister Trish for putting on this event today. Don't Hate, Elevate. Big you up for putting on this event. Also, would like to welcome everybody that's travelled far from London. I don't know if there's any other cities, but you know, thanks for putting in that time to make it down here. I'm just a bit disappointed that the venue, the park, and then the forest, you know, because I'm a people's person. We've got an organisation called More Lions, and we're a community organisation based in Radford, and we are out there with the streets and the people of the streets. So I like to speak to the streets. So I'm just a bit disappointed that the streets aren't here, because I know the streets are out there. And they're missing out on things that they should be hearing. You know, it's like we're in a little corner and the streets are out there. So for me, that's a bit saddened that the streets aren't here, because I'm with people that I guess are woke, you know, the children of the Most High. So we go, you know, when you're sick, you need a doctor. And I think we should be out there with the sick, but we have to make the most of the situation that we've got right now.
Street Mike is here.
So anyway, More Lions has been going for, say, around 7 years. Organisation based in Radford, and we've been empowering young people, workshops. Big up Raspect, because we first connected with Raspect when it was, what was your organisation back then? BFBP. So we linked with them from there, and it's been my little nephew ever since. You know, the love is just there, the realness is just there. You know, we've had Leo Mohammed actually came to our organisation 2 years ago and spoke to the people there. So yeah, it's good to see everybody here. But like I said, More Lions, we like street orientated. We take it to the roads. We keep it real. And there's a lot of real people out there on the streets. A lot of real people that we need to be speaking to. And basically, I'm not really prepared for the people that's here, because I was prepared for the people out there. So I'm just saying a few words where I'm going to just touch on spirituality right now, because in the times where we're living in now with the pandemic, it's all about the spiritual warfare. I heard that you just talked about one voice and unity. And for me, the one voice and the unity, you can have unity, physical unity, and then you can have spiritual unity. And right now, it's about the spiritual and not so much the physical. Because sometimes we all get together and we keep in events and it's a physical thing. We come out, we speak, we drink, we eat food, and then we go back home, and it was just like a high just for that moment. and then we go back to our lives. But it's about the spiritual connection. We need to start coming together spiritually, because it's a spiritual warfare.
Right.
So when we come together, there's a lot of organisations out there, a lot of movements out there, and you can come together as people physically and say, we're going to make change, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. But without the spiritual, it's not going to happen. No matter how you try, if the spiritual isn't there, the physical can only do so much. You have to come together spiritually. So for me, yeah, everybody's here now, but you know, you might have some people, Nation of Islam, you might have Nubians, you might have Christians, you know, it doesn't matter what we are as a people. We need to come together outside of events. We can't just come together when it's an event. We need to come together outside of an event spiritually. We need to build up a spiritual army for a time like this. Because it is a big spiritual warfare, and there's different levels to this spiritual warfare as well. Because when you start being awoke and coming onto the journey, yeah, you elevate. Don't elevate, right? You start to elevate into different areas of your spiritual journey. Because for me, things that I used to do like 5 years ago, I thought I was spiritual, I wouldn't do them now. So as you move and you journey through your walk, you're going to elevate into a different walk. And I think for us as a people, some of the time we need to go underground with some of the things that we talk and we do. We need to take it underground, because they are working underground. Yeah, we don't know their moves or what they're doing. So sometimes we have to be wise, and not everything is to speak. You know, sometimes we have to take it to the underground. And that's where I am right now. I want to go underground with certain things as a people. Do you know what I mean? We've got to start being more secretive in our maneuvers and stop letting them know what we're thinking, because it's a war against the mind. You understand me? So we can't give away our cards and let them know, yeah, that's what they're thinking, that's where they're at. We got to start being wise, and we got to start going underground. So I'm just going to keep it sweet on that, and for now, and just to say that there's different levels, and it's a spiritual journey, and we've got to start stepping up and be wiser and smarter in our moves, what we're doing. And you know, that's for, I might want to speak later on when we've got a bit more crowd, yeah? So I'm just touching on a little thing right now. So thank you, everybody. Okay, thank you.
Respect, Sister Gloria, sister from the Divine Mister. We have the same heart, you know, because she's right, we're too loose. You know, we spread out ourselves everywhere, we talk our business everywhere, you know, because we want to fit in, but we don't need to fit in anywhere. We are the model. You know what I mean? We are the original carbon model. It's, you know, from we, you get me. Anyway, right now I would like to introduce to you someone who's very, very dear to me. I have known him practically all my life, literally from I was about 7 years old. I met this beautiful heart. So I'm going to say he has a wonderful heart. He is well known in our community for many, many reasons. He is an activist, he is a pianist, a piano teacher, he's also a poet, he's a writer, he's published many books, and he is a dear friend to me. He is none other than our elder, and I want you to make the most noise, because you know, without our elders, we are not. Do you know what I mean? We need our elders, and we need to support our elders, and they're wanting to support we with the positivity that we have. So please, everyone, make some real warm, crazy noise outside here for Elder Pitman Brown. Come on, keep it going. So look, check this out. Don't ramp enough. Don't mess about. Come on, Elder, come on, he's amped up, he's dashiked up. Check the shit, I love it. Absolutely amazing. Brother, let me give you a hug. Oh. From I was 7, I've known him. Do your thing.
I can hardly believe. I mean, the questions that are yet unanswered, situations yet unaccounted for. Yes, some of you, or most of you, once a friend, always a dear friend. There are a few others. This wonderful man in the cream suit, I last saw you at Birmingham, and yes, you spoke in Nottingham with the Moor Lions, but more from you. I'd like to welcome the fact that this is Sister Trisha. I just imagined how she would blossom. What are the elements that will interplay in order to bring about a great woman? I was struggling to see what I could see in her.
What is your name? Who are you to me? Because we all are creation of that God. So we need to know who we are. Just like you know your mom and your dad, and even if you don't know, you try and find out. Find out who your God is. And make that your center of attention. Nurture it. Nurture, speak, and do what you need to do to develop your spirituality, okay? Because like Sister G said, it is a spiritual war that we're in right now, okay? It's a war on the mind, it's a war on the heart, but most of all on the spirit. You need to know who you are. You need to know whose you are and why you are here. So, without further ado, I'd like to move on to our next speaker, who is once again another one of our community leaders, is another young brother who I love dearly. I see amazing works he's doing. He's part of a very well-known community group called Forever Family. And that's exactly what they are. They are family. They're about unity in the community. They're about peace, love, and harmony. And they're about our liberation as being together as one and doing for ourselves. So please put your hands together, make some crazy noise for our brother Raspect. Raspect is in the house. Come on, you can do better than that. Make some noise. We've got vocal cords. Come on, people out here. What noise? All right, much love.
Bless. Yeah, man, I'm humbled. As per usual, you get me? More love to the family. It's always good, you know what I'm saying, just to be amongst the family. And I always say, like, it's all about quality over quantity, you know what I'm saying? And the quality here today is second to none, do you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, big up everyone that's out here. Big up Sis for setting up the event, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, as Sis said, even the public speaking thing, I'm not really a public speaker, you know. Like, I never planned to be a public speaker. I never planned to talk. I'm very much a underground worker. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm very much someone who's in the streets, on the ground. When youths have knives, I go to them and I take knives off youths in real life. And I don't film it and put it on the internet, because I'm not trying to bait up none of my young G's. Do you know what I'm saying? We're trying to guide them to a whole new space where they're gonna win. And the more that we criminalize them is the more that they go down that path. So for me, a lot of the stuff that we do is underground, but when I do speak, I think it resonates with people who want to see that change. And that's all I'm about. Like, I haven't got, for me, it's like, I look at this thing like it's a war, right? We're under attack. So if we're under attack, then there's only one solution. And that solution is for us to, we don't notice any divisions outside of someone inside harming the family, yeah? And for me, I feel like Babylon has infiltrated and put so many divisions and set us against each other to the point where we as a people will spend more energy fighting against each other. And it's not just the youths on the road. Do you get me? Like, I've had things where I'm putting all my energy into someone else that looks just like me. Do you know what I'm saying? And my brother Craze had to give me the phone call and say, yo, little brother, your purpose is bigger than that. Just ignore that, because, you know, people are talking about they're gonna punch me in the face and and I'm all drawing into it, you get me? Because they're talking on public platforms. I'm telling crazy, like, how's man talking like to man like that public? He's saying, bro, until something reaches you, blood, don't even respond to nothing. You get me? Just stay on your path, bro. Because we're so easy to get drawn out. You get me? So for me, there's just simple missions that we need to achieve. And what I've done is I've created platforms that create the ripples to those missions. One, a big one for me, coming up in a Christian home, then going to Gambia and seeing Islam, then living in Jamaica for 2 years and coming amongst Rasta, coming back, learning about Kemet, learning about all the different systems. I've read the Bible from start to finish, Quran from start to finish. And the black print for moving forward is very simple and it's been given to us before. That's why I was saying the Marcus X movement, you get me? The X Garvey movement. It's all the black print's there, you get me? One God, one aim, one destiny. Simple. Yeah? Brother said one voice, one God, one aim, one destiny. That's it. That's what we can all agree on. No matter who we are, where we're from, we can all agree, one God, one aim, one destiny. What's that destiny? That goes on to the next thing. Because the first platform was the Lions Den. The second platform, Police the Police Global. Yeah? And that is a platform that has been created to document officers when they're racially profiling in our community now. Publicly document them. So it's not a thing where we have to worry about us giving a complaint and it getting thrown in the bin and nothing happening. No, it's going to be a public database that we have as a community that documents the officers, their names, their badges, the places, the locations, their stations, their license plates. We've got our first officer in right now, and we're going to drop his face on Monday. Yeah, and one by one, and people are going to start seeing the picture, and then they're going to say, yo, I see that officer wearing enlightens. Make sure I film him when he's messing. You know what I'm saying? And this way, when the complaints procedure, the reason why people don't complain is because they can't see anything with their complaint. Now we're just going to expose them. The other day, they racially profiled my brothers in Forest Gate. What did I do? I come down to the ends. I was with Temps and then man. You get me? Tempati, you get me? And then man. Anyway, we're there now. He said, yo, I see the feds down the road. I jumped on my scooter. I'm running down feds. Cause I used to run down my brother. Yeah, I was one of them. I can't judge them. How can I judge these youths with these big knives when we know when we was 12, 13, we had straps. We was doing armed robberies. How can I judge them? I can't judge them. I was 11 years old, hungry outside a chicken shop, begging people for £1, and they was looking at me like I was trash. So I started robbing them because it felt better. I like the feeling better than when you look at me like I'm trash. I'd rather tell you, give me your food, and you treat me with respect. You get me? I wasn't a drug dealer, but Jolene wants something, Darren's got it. If I get it from Darren and drop it to Jolene, I make £10 and can help my mum with electric. I'm not a drug dealer though. Do you understand? Like, I can't judge the youths. I understand how when you really come from poverty, when you really know what hunger feels like, when it eat out your stomach, and it starts eating at your morality and your decisions that you're making, and you ain't got no value for yourself because you're a black youth. You know what that means? That means that your destiny is death or prison. You've accepted that at 11, 12, 13, 14. It's accepted. So basically you're suicidal. But instead of dealing with your depression and your trauma by slicing yourself or taking pills, you're gonna rather kill yourself on the roads and go out with a bang. I'm gonna go out with a bang. Yeah, because if the youth ain't initiated into the village, then they're gonna burn it down to feel its warmth. So I fully understand, and a lot of this stuff I can't talk about too public, you get me? A lot of this stuff, and that's why we created a platform called Patreon, where people can sign up and we can kind of have more of a community discussion, and we can say the things that we're not gonna, and it's not even nothing even crazy. It's just sometimes when we're talking, we don't want to put our weaknesses out there for people to go and push those weaknesses further. So we got, and there's certain conversations where people are calling out people's names. I don't think that should be, any of that should be on public platforms. No matter what a man says, ignore him. Ignore him, keep it moving. Unless there's a political argument, like a debate, like you think that we should do politics and I think that we should do activism. We can have a debate, we can have intellectual debates as people, but anything personal, we shouldn't be drawing ourselves to it. There should be a level of solidarity in the face of the enemy that we're caught. Let me tell you why this is important. Because if it doesn't happen, our children are gonna die. It's very simple. It's very simple. We can see the stabbings, but it's gonna get worse and worse and worse. That's it. And our grandchildren are gonna die. And Marcus Garvey said it best. Yeah? He said, they done it. Can we do it? He said, you race of good for nothings. You race of imbeciles. If you can't do what other men have done, what other nation has done, then you deserve to die. And it's facts. There's no lie there. If we can't rise up, if the Chinese brethren or the Asian brethren or the Polish brethren start killing each other on the roads, we're not going to be looking at the children. We're going to be looking at the adults in that community to step out and find solutions for your children. Because we can't blame them. It's us. It takes a village to raise a child. And we know the battle of racism. We all know that. We experience that today. Yeah, because we're always going to be under battle. But like, we say we're warriors. We say we're soldiers. We talk about people like Nanny Maroon. We talk about people like Harriet Tubman that literally had to shoot slave masters. And then we complain about this situation we're in now. Trust me, it's easy right now. It's easy, family, right now. Trust me, because 500 years ago, a man was raped. Like, yeah, we know what it was. Right. So right now, we just got to see it as we're in a better position, but it's only through our collective actions and collective thoughts that we're going to be able to move forward. And I'm going to leave it with a little spoken word, yeah? And this is just the voice of the youths, yeah? So they don't know what it's like when you're from the gully. You see her stressing all the time and you can't help your mummy. You want to help her with the bills, but you ain't got the money. Or when you got a little girl and you can't buy her Huggies. No one likes to sell to druggies. How can I knock it when it's how I bought my daughter's buggy? We don't believe we'll get the job, even when we study. And most black professors, they be acting nutty. Can't take big dog for little puppy. I got the heart of a lion and you can't take it from me. I'm on a path straight to Zion and I hope it's sunny. Don't ask why I ain't smiling if nothing's funny. See, I ain't frightened, but I'm fighting duppies. Blood-sucking vampires want us living bummy. You must be buzzing if you think I ain't gonna feed my tummy. So we prepared to be stung so we could eat the honey. But they don't know what it's like when you're from the slums. You see us stressing all the time and you can't help your mum. The tax man took the bread and left us eating crumbs from a young age. I said I'd love to see the system bun. I'm prepared for when violence comes, do what I have to. I don't brag about the crimes I've done. Never leave a brother behind, but know the time to run. A wise don knows the time when he should bite his tongue. And I was brighter than the rising sun, hood science locked. And money I'd be nice with sums. School thought I wasn't smart cause I wasn't dumb. Cause when these teachers gave me, I weren't having none. Every day, we was out and run an Aggie one. Like, don't force us to separate a dad and son. We never tried to take a life so we could brag for fun. Blood, I'm just trying to survive, I grab a... But they don't know what it's like when you're from the gutter. You see her stressing all the time and you can't help your mama. You feel you have to be the man cause you ain't got a papa, active uncle, role model or older brother. No gas, we had cold summers. And when we got a little bread, there was no butter. People say don't judge a book by its cover, but the judge will throw the book at you because your colour. Born a fighter, I am not a lover. I adapt to my surroundings, so I'm getting tougher. I ain't scared, it makes mad when I start to stutter. To tell a dumb and dummy, I am not a sucker. I don't want to see my people suffer. Same time, I will ride for my gully brothers. Same time, I ain't dying for a dirty borough. So if we're really gonna fight, it should be for each other.
Yup.
Around there we say Tendai Mari. Tell the devil man them can't harm we. Round there we aid Marcus Garvey, Leonard P. Owl, Rastafari. Round there we say Tendai Mari. Tell the devil man them can't harm we. Round there we aid Marcus Garvey, Leonard P. Owl. Look, hey, gang my political party. Power sisters, my sisters and aunties. Our cable on, that's the heartbeat. Black fist be part of the army. Haile Selassie and Marcus Garvey. Big up Tupac, Illuminati. Before Bruce Lee, I'm Mr. Miyagi. It's a black man that created karate. War, strength is ancestral. Don't go church, my body's a temple. So don't die, spirit don't settle. If Garvey's alive, then I must be a vessel. That's why they call me a rebel. Born in hell, don't like the devil. Britain put black people in ghettos. Surround their family, don't say hello. Round there we say Tendai Mari. Tell the devil man them can't harm we. Round here we aid Marcus Garvey, Leonard P. Owl, Rastafari. Round there we say Tendai Mari. Tell the devil man them can't harm we. Round there we aid Amy Garvey, Empress Menin, Rita Marley. Cause round there we speak our own tongue, we sing our own song and beat our own drum. We build our own schools, we're teaching our young. It's time for action, the speaking is done. From the time our people got hung to save our own lives, we owned our own guns. If we don't fight, our freedom won't come. Revolution deep in our lungs. Our people got robbed, we are not poor. Why you think that police got their dogs for? So we're training pit bulls with lockjaws. Cause we're on the front line, this is God's war. Just look at France if you're not sure. Never show mercy, I never say mercy. Talk like a Frenchman, what for? Right there we don't say bonjour. Right there we say Tendai Mari. Tell the devil man them can't harm we. Right there we ain't Marcus Garvey, Leonard P. Owl, Rastafari. And right there we ain't Amy Garvey, Empress Menin, Rita Marley, Winnie Mandela, Asar Ashakur, Nani Maroon, that's heart of the army. Right there we say Tendai Mari. Right there we say Tendai. But if they ever touch one in the army, tell the devil man Tendai. Right there we say Tendai Mari. Right there we say Tendai. But if they ever touch one in the army, tell the devil man Tendai. Yeah.
Love that. Absolutely love that. Come on. Come on. The talent is here. The talent is here. Amazing. Oh my goodness. At this moment, we're going to take a quick musical break for refreshments, and then we'll be right back.
Oh my God, 1 minute. 1 second, 1 second. This is just recording you though. Okay.
Here we go. Shit. Pass it. Pass it. Yeah, my bad.
Can you, am I able to charge the thing? No, not.
Yeah, hold on. Look up.
Oh my days. The gang. Oh, here we are. I'm the cameraman. Come, Craig.
Tour time.
Oh my God.
Rubber family drill. Don't think we miss out.
In reality, they see you as a corporation, and you wouldn't believe it, but it's based upon your surname. Your surname is not your name. Look on your birth certificate. Everything can be verified. I've seen it. They ask you, what's your name? First name and middle name. And there is no surname on your birth certificate. There's only your father's surname and your mother's surname, whether they were married or not. And then they ask for the occupation. Why do they ask for the occupation on your birth certificate? And wasn't I born on that day, not birthed? What is birth? Is it B-I-R-T-H or is it B-E-R-T-H? What was a birth? What is a birth? A birth is a allocated slot, on a ship. Because they see us as ships on the sea of commerce. And they create this legal entity based upon your father or your mother's surname. Because when the baby's born, they ask you if you named it, you say no. But then when you look on their arm, they have to identify it. They have, because this is one thing that they have to do, categorize. Because he who names owns. So they've given your child a name, surname, and that's the corporate legal fiction that they put aside. That's why the Queen in her speech when she was inaugurated said, and I, in all sincerity, want to be worthy of your trust. It's not your trust in your faith, it's your trust fund. Yeah, it's your trust fund. That's why it's called the Commonwealth. She's got the wealth of the commoners. That's why she's the richest woman on the planet. The biggest landowner, because she's got the Commonwealth in Australia, in Canada, in Britain, in the Americas, South America, Africa, everywhere that participates in the Commonwealth Games. She's got the estates that were not claimed and went into probate. There is a fund. There's a group of us, and we're doing research. And one or two of us knocking on the door is not going to get it done. We need to. The scripture says, "My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge."
That's right. That's right.
A few of you may know some of this about the birth certificate. Getting back to that is a birth. I saw Brother Leo said yes. That birth is the space on a ship, and when they transported us over here, or when they had this purported slave industry, they had a slot, and that position would have been allocated a document, and that is similar to, that's what a birth certificate is. It's a bond, and at 7 years, because 7 is a symbolic number. There's an act called the Sescovie Act, and after 7 years, if you do not come forward, they take that and are legally allowed to float down the stock market. The stock on the stock market is you and me.
Come on, come on.
That's why it's on Wall Street, where they used to sell and buy slaves. All of this can be verified. Well, within 2 blocks of Wall Street, let's be specific. But it's built on top of the graves of our ancestors. Everywhere they go, they knock down our stuff and build on top of it. That's what the Vatican is. It's built on top of a temple where Queen Vatica, and they had, it was called a necropolis, which is something to do with necromancy of the dead. But anyway, their understanding of spirituality is based upon their understanding, but it's not ours. And they've created, as I said, this legal entity. They float it on the stock market, and if you go forward, it's all on the government website. These documents, you don't have to pay council tax. They know this, but they've let their mates know where it is, and they didn't think we'd find it, but we found it. Because I always said, there's something going on. How come matey's nowhere near as smart as me? How's he earning that? What's he, there's something going on. They don't pay anything, they discharge, because there is no money. Real money is gold and silver, or certificates that can be redeemed for gold and silver. When we were put on this earth, God said, go forth and multiply, subdue. In other words, take what's due, take it. But he didn't say dominate, he said have dominion. That's not the same as dominating. That's the system that they dominate people. But having dominion means you're a king. We're sovereigns. What's this part of your head called? It's your crown. What's this part? It's your temple. The scripture says you are a royal priesthood. Royalty is a king and a queen. Priesthood, here's your temple. The God that created all of this is in you. The scripture says there's a commentary that the Jews have, and it says, for God made man in his image, a speaking spirit just like him. As a man thinketh, so is he. And out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So whatever's in your heart, that's what you're going to speak. So be careful about what's in your heart, because you shall sow the wind and reap the whirlwind, whether it's constructive or destructive. You can create rapidly, because we know how to destroy rapidly with our tongues and our energy. If we turn that towards positivity, understanding this system and manipulate it, use it. It's pointless trying to fight the system. You have to, who said it? I think it was one of the Rothschilds said, don't own it, control. That's all it is, control. Know how to control it. Your temper. Control your temper. Don't get angry, because that is dishonor. You don't like acting this. We're kings and queens. We act honorably. Yeah? That's our problem. Yeah, we're justified in feeling the way we feel. However, our actions, You have to be and think as royalty. You see that movie, The Prince and the Pauper? That's what's gone on. Our kingdom has been taken from us. We are royalty, but we dress and act like paupers. And the paupers are in the palace. That's why he says about cast not your pearl before swine. If you put, I'm going to wind it up here, but if anybody's interested in knowing more about this common law equity, how you can redeem, it's called, even the process in America is called the redemption process. There are manuals, it's all on the internet, but if you don't ask the right questions, you won't find the answers to them. And you would have never thought that that was, you know, there's something going on, but we're so wrapped up with the Commonwealth Games, football, EastEnders, paying the bills, that we don't look right where the answers are. On the government, it's all on the government website, legislate. And when you read it and you see it, I think they are subtle. It's subtlety. Yeah, it's hidden, and literally hidden in plain sight. If you look at the Vatican from atop, it looks like a keyhole. Look at it, because that's what it is. Each one of them is anyway, I could go on, because the information is vast, and the more you dig, you then start to find the answers to the problems you're experiencing now, which is knowing that you can control your life and have the power to create whatever amount of wealth and business you want. Okay, anyway, I'm handing back to beautiful hostess Trisha Elevator on here. Thanks.
Wow, come on, give it up.
Yeah.
For bag one. Powerful information, right? There's information out there that can free us. Remember I said I'm about the mind, the heart, and the spirit. And in order for it to be whole, it needs to live in truth, okay? And we want honesty, and we haven't had any honesty. We've had pure tyranny taking place, and we don't want that. We want honesty. We want truth in love, okay? We don't want any more lies. We're done with the lies. Stop lying to yourself, first and foremost. Stop lying to yourself about who you really are, really all about. Stop doing that. You are a melanated person, like it or not. And your roots do not necessarily generate from the United KK, okay? Your roots come from a place that definitely has sun all year round. Your roots come from a place where the sea, the sand, and the food is free. That's where your roots are from. But you need to find that direct location. First of all, the location is in your heart. Find yourself. Once you find yourself, you'll find everything else. Now, you know, I can go on as well, but the day's not about me. The day's about all these wonderful people that have come here today to share in love and harmony in their message to you as the people. And that's what we're about today. And as you've heard, yes, we've had our issues, but you know what, like I said, we are builders. And no matter how much we get broken down, we'll continue to build because our foundation is love.
Go ahead.
We are lovers, we're healers, we're farmers, we're builders. And that has to come from a place of love. Because you're not going to build something unless you love it. You're not going to eat something unless you like it or you love it. Do you know what I mean? You're not going to necessarily even lay down in bed with somebody unless you love them. So our foundation is love. And once we continue to grow on that foundation, love of self and love of others, we must win this fight. Come on.
Greetings. Yes, for those who don't know me, I am Young Ra. For the streets man them who are connected, who know me, obviously, Young Wince, Daddy Wince from Radford, you with me? Now, I heard the elders say that 7 is a unique number and it's a power number.
Yes.
Now,
Perfection.
it's a number of perfection, like Auntie just said, you with me? So as we have to know and recognize, I come from Radford. Radford is, as we come to the postcode, NG7, yeah? 7 is obviously also our postcode for Nottingham. It's called 0115. So when you deal with the 0115 and you add that together, you're gonna get back the 7. So Nottingham is a very powerful and unique place. If you go back in time in history, in their story, which is obviously our story, which is my story, mystery, because they always put our story as a mystery, where you have to go and dig up my story and obviously know thyself. So when you go back into time, because we have to be time travelers, and go back and know our ancestors, because when we go back to know our ancestors, you know self. You with me? So, like I'm saying, Nottingham's a very powerful place. A lot of the old world more or less knows about Nottingham from the Caribbean, Jamaica, America, all over. It's significant to Robin Hood. Now, Robin Hood was very unique because he was an outlaw, so they say, because he was rebellious against their law, their system, how they're trying to suppress the people. Now, when we look back, obviously what's going on today's time, it's the same format what they're trying to do. Babylon system trying to suppress the people. Now, when we go back to obviously the time of Robin Hood, these are the things where you have to go and look into. And they don't want to obviously give us any credibility and recognition as black people. Now, even that word there, black, we are not black, and obviously sometimes people might look around if you're lacking the knowledge, yeah, to think, why are you going to say that we are not black? Now, if you go into the etymology, and if obviously whoever's got phones on them, you with me, because we're not here to just talk and know what we're talking about, you understand, because that's when man look like idiot and fool. You understand, Mama G grew me good, and she was up here before. We have to salute the empresses because we all come through woman, womb of the mom. You with me? So that's how it is. That's how we come to this planet. This is how we manifest through the woman, because man can't bring obviously woman without the woman, and we can't obviously come forth into the world without them. So we have to know ourselves. You with me? And as the Nation of Islam say, they obviously say we have to, as a nation, raise our women, because obviously we as a nation can't be obviously high in our rightful position without putting our women in their rightful position. You understand? So now when we say that now, this is what I'm saying. Their system, their will, they don't give us, like I said, recognition as African melanated people. When we talk about Africa, all places, yeah, is woman. The land is woman. The earth is woman. Mother Nature is woman. Yeah? And like I said, every man and woman come out of woman. Yeah? So, now when we're talking about, like I was saying, Robin Hood, he was seeing that man now is coming to manipulate the system. Man has come to obviously confuse the people. Yeah? So as they've come to confuse the people now, sometimes Christians get the thing twisted, and obviously other people who obviously recite to certain scriptures where they say, give unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar. Now, if we go back, like I said in his story, who is Caesar? Caesar is obviously not our people. And if we know ourselves, we belong to sovereign people. We are the sovereign. We are the original woman and man of this planet. So this is where you go back to, like I said, we are not black. When you go back to the etymology and look this up, like I said, the word in Old English goes back to obviously pale, lacking melanin, lacking light, lacking hue. So this is what they've done from way back in time. They gave us the white man ideology of the Bible, the white man ideology of the dictionary, wordplay. Now, it's called spell English terminology. I don't like to, I'm going to go to why. The Queen of Queens. Now, when I'm dealing with why we as melanated emperors and kings, you understand? We should not be calling the female the queen, because she's meant to be more than the queen. Because what is the queen? When we go back to Old English again, look these things up in the dictionary to make sure you know that young Raw, this young lion ain't chatting no foolishness, which I'm not. You with me? Come here to be more. Yeah? Now, queen again. Let me see. Sir, Mr. Pitman, where are you? Sir, can I just borrow you for 2 seconds, please? This is one of my elders. You with me? Oh, my battery just died. You know what? Can you join me? Have you got your phone on you?
My phone is over there.
It doesn't matter. I can freestyle. If you can look it up on your phone, then. Look up the word queen in Old English, and if you find it, then you can come wave your hand and I'll call you back up so you can read it. Yeah? Yes. But I will elaborate. Thank you, sir, Mr. Pitman. This is what it is. A beautiful thing. One of my elders, one of my teachers, you with me, he's a part of the More Lions, you with me, been around, because we've been doing More Lions for 7 years, yeah? We started in 2014. If you do the maths again, 2014, what's that equaling? 7 again, you understand? So the powers of the real, you understand? And I got a story I could tell you of my life, you understand? But that's a different thing where I can show you how the power is the manifestations on another level. But back to the story now. The queen in Old English means prostitute, whore. So if queen means prostitute and whore, yes, this is the root, the etymology and the root word of queen. Yeah? They've got variations of the spelling, but it all goes back to the same root. Yeah? Now, basically, we as, like I said, we should be knowing that we are more than obviously calling our queens the whore and the prostitute. So as we're dealing with nature, in nature, you have the lion and you have the lioness, and they're the head of the pride. So as they're the head of the pride, we are the manifestations of the Heavenly Father and the Heavenly Mother. Yeah, we're the emperor and the empress. Like I said, we not deal with no ish thing and no English and no foolishness. You have to go back to the words and spells, because it all goes back to one of their top Freemason characters, which is called Aleister Crowley. And he was a master of words, wordplay, spells. Yeah, these are dealing with wizardry. You with me? Because these are demons on earth right about now. Them, yeah, you with me? That the white way is obviously not what they think or what they say. Yeah, education is key, and obviously be more. Yeah, manners and love.
Come on, put your hands together for the brother. We needed more time, really more time, because you hear the youths them, you hear the power, you hear the anointing. Yeah, that's coming from the heart, that's coming from the spirit. That's not flesh. Man's live flesh already. All of these mans here, Eazi, Too Badder, Raspect. You know, we've all done the flesh thing, we've all done the street thing. I said already, it's not working. Okay? So respect to that. Young Ra, up and coming, more lions. Watch out for him here in Nottingham. Without further ado, then, want to bring Too Badder back on the stage to give us some more fantastic musical edutainment. Too Badder, step up.
Yo, blessings, young lion, done now, and have pure power in his speech, so you have to recognize that, you know the way they highlight that, find more of that, and link up that. So yeah, blessings, king. So yeah, before I drop this rhythm, I'll give you like an acapella first, just before we cut out. So, we used to line up pyramids with star grids, and decorate the walls with hieroglyphs of starships. You think I'm running for my life like Ray Shah did? You think we give a damn about statues being guarded? Look, Donna don't care about walls round statues. We's more interested in laws and statutes, especially the ones that's involving our black youths, cause they's dying at a rate that ain't natural. We came out in mass, had the melanated knee pressed on their neck, and we ain't letting off the gas. My daughter said, Dad, it's a mazza, what's gonna happen? It's like killing, black man's become a pattern. She's worried for her brothers and dad, and she needs a plan. And the man that I am done, I ain't gonna let her down. I said, baby, we gonna start a bank and teach the youngers to flip property, not dank. And we can put the money straight back in cause it's black. And we can build up the whole community from scratch. That's what we're doing now, taking matters in our own hands. I got political seats in the Midlands, courtesy of Cousin Ange. I got the street team ready to bang, and I got thousands of followers behind me with clutched hands, screaming, economic leverage is the new leverage. Teach it to the kids, and we take back our heritage. I don't need nothing from Boris, except come out of Africa, stay out my way, and stop cutting down forests. You hear the pain of my ancestors' voices. We've been fighting this fight so long they've left us with no choices. Now it's no justice, no peace. I'm raising warriors, these roots run deep, you can't cut these trees. DJ, run that last rhythm for me. Run that last rhythm for me. Right, so this track here, this one's entitled Awakening. On the tube now, this one's on the Spotify, go and stream this.
But he went on to say in the statement.
This is my George Floyd tribute. Rest in peace, brother. Yo, turn that down just a touch. We're gonna get into it real good. Last one before we go, brother. Listen, you see, the trouble is, we was out here searching for justices way before social media was showing clutching fists. They snuffed the king live on TV, then kept on pumping it. And they're wondering why the youngers wanna bun the ting. Like you were born with a burden to have this color skin. Took a live murder before they understood the suffering. My granny used to say, you gotta work twice as hard as the white man if you wanna earn the same as him. Well, nah, granny, I'm done. I want my fair share. All that working hard, they still murdered George live on air. Yeah, another black mother had to cry a tear. Man had his hands in his pockets like I don't care. Well, no more are we taking it. Rest in peace, George, you started the mass awakening. It's gone around the world, it's like history in the making. So the system's gotta come down, it was built on racism. Rosa was standing, Martin was walking, Malcolm was fighting, they don't want us talking. It opens up wounds, they know it's appalling. It's time to look in the mirror and deal with your bullshit. You didn't do it, but your great-great-granddaddy did. And now your white privilege is affecting my kids. Cause if your son becomes a fed and my son becomes a dread, and your son arrests my son might not live. F that, I prefer to die so he can live. So he can tell his kids granddad weren't having it. 2020 in the concrete forest, granddad had bun down Boris just to make sure that we could live. You've seen the people coming together now, you've seen the team. My white brother standing with me now, we needed this. When they said the revolution would be televised, I bet they never imagined it on my phone in HD and shit. You could take down walls and pull it up. Man, put the bass in late. DJ, pull it up so we can get that loud. Yo. We're in Nottingham, you get me? Let's make some noise for now. Nottingham, let me hear you make some noise in here before we hit this M-word. Before we hit this and go back. Yo, rest in peace, George Floyd. And every single one of my brothers and sisters that's been taken by this racist system. This is the last generation that you're gonna ramp with. The youngers are not having none of it again. Listen, bada bada, London to Nottingham. You see, the trouble is, we was out here searching for justices way before social media was showing clutching fists. They snuffed the king live on TV, then kept on pumping it. Then they wondering why the youngers wanna bun the ting. Now you were born with a burden to have this color skin. Took a live murder before they understood the suffering. My granny used to say, you gotta work twice as hard as the white man if you wanna earn the same as him. Well, now, granny, I'm done. I want my fair share. All that working hard, they still murdered George live on air. Yeah, mother's got to cry a tear. Man had his hands in his pockets. I don't care. Well, no more are we taking it. Rest in peace, George. You started the mass awakening. It's gone around the world. It's like history in the making. So the system's got to come down. It was built on racism. Rosa was standing. Martin was walking. Malcolm was fighting. They don't want us talking. It opens up wounds. They know it's appalling. It's time to look in the mirror and deal with your bullshit. You didn't do it, but your great-great-granddaddy did. And now your white privilege is affecting my kids. Because if your son becomes a fed and my son becomes a dread, and your son arrests my son might not live. F that. I prefer to die so he can live. So he can tell his kids granddad weren't having it. 2020 in the concrete forest, granddad had bun down Boris just to make sure that we could live. You see my people coming together now, we needed this. My white brother standing with me now, we needed this. When we said the revolution would be televised, I bet they never imagined it on my phone in HD and shits. You can take down walls and statues. We prefer if you change laws and statutes. If try to make it about a race war, that's not true. We just want the feds to stop killing our black youths. We just want respect for the things that blacks do. If it's a democracy, do what Democrats do. But we the only race had our history erased, then had it rubbed in our face. You've come far, like that'll do. For the record, all lives matter is offensive. If you don't get it, ask the whites that's protested. Because all my white friends in all my friends list don't need no explanation. They just with me in the trenches again. All lives matter is offensive. If you don't get it, ask the whites that's protested. Because all my white friends in all my friends list don't need no explanation. They just with me in the trenches. Bada bada, London to Nottingham. Sisters that's been taken. Yo, we out here. Brother Leo, you done know already. Sister Trisha, each and every time, you know it go already. Much love. Nottingham, now. Bless you, sis.
Oh, come on.
Mad person.
Oh yeah, before I run over the mic. Again.
Let's do what the Democrats do. Come on. Love that, love that, love that. Now listen, it's been a full lineup. It's been absolutely amazing. Sister G, More Lions, Young Ra, Eazi, Raspect, Jay. Oh my gosh. Big shouts out also to the Michael and the Real Caribbean Tings. Come on, put your hands together, please. I want everyone to support the food here today. Seriously, buy a food, take it back with you. Support Michael and the Real Caribbean Tings. He stuck with me today. He stuck with me because he believed in the mission. He believed in the purpose that we have here today. And it's happening. So enough respect, Michael. Enough love, okay? Also, thank you once again, all of you, for being here.
Card,
it is now time
your
for
card?
our keynote speaker.
No, darling.
It is now time for one of our leaders, one of our men on the mission field, our brother from the Divine Mother. He is well known for the United KK sitcom, which went by the name of The Real McCoy back in the 80s. That was amazing, but also fondly known now as our brother Leo Muhammad, the Nation of Islam. He is here today in Nottingham. He is here to bless us. Please put your hands together, make some noise, stamp your feet, whistle, scream. Whatever you need to do to give this brother some love and a warm welcome here in Nottingham. Come on, Leo Muhammad. It's Leo Muhammad. This is one of our leaders. We're all leaders in our own right. But you know, come on, brother, much love for being here. You do your thing now.
Do your thing.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, whether we say Allah, whether we say God, Jah, Jehovah, Yahweh, whatever the name that we use to describe the Creator of the heavens and the earth, I bear witness that there is but one God, and I bear witness that Muhammad is his messenger. I greet you, my beloved brothers and sisters, in the greeting words of peace. We say it in the ancient tongue of Arabic, Assalamu alaikum. Beloved brothers and sisters, I can't go any further without first saying, let's give it up one more time for our brother Tubada. And for all of the speakers who preceded him and all of the performances that we received today. Absolutely awesome. I really want to thank our dear sister Trisha, because she had a vision to do something in Nottingham, and all manner of machinations conspired to be against her. But she's a fighter, she's a warrior, and she persevered, and that's why we're here today. So please, brothers and sisters, let's give it up for our sister. This is just the beginning. This is not the end of a process. This is the beginning of a process, and we look forward to the future when we can come back to Nottingham and go to different towns and cities all over this country with the type of power and energy that we just received from our young brothers and from Brother Michael. They call him Bagwan. And that beautiful, powerful message that he shared with us today as it relates to, you know, this sovereignty, which is ours, that many of us don't know the reality about. So, you know, I've listened to everyone speak, and I've really appreciated the message of solidarity and unity and power. And I've appreciated the fact that we weren't dwelling on the physical necessarily, but our sister, when she spoke, she went to the spiritual. And it's really, really important that as a people we recognize that we are spiritual beings. that we are the people and the children of the Most High God. We are that energy, that power that built the universe. We are the ones who established Earth. And, you know, in 2021, it's critically important that as we talk to one another, as we walk with one another, we appreciate that we have to take charge of this life once and for all. We're living in the time period today when we are the ones who the whole world is waiting on to see whether or not we're going to take back our identity, take back the planet, because the planet will continue to be in turmoil and in uproar once we have a child of a lesser God dominating our planet, while the original man, the original woman, the royalty of the planet, as it's been stated before, remain in the gutter, believing ourselves to be less than who we are, when in reality we are the people of God. Brothers and sisters, I really want us to appreciate what we heard from the young brothers in particular today, because when you listen to them, and I'm classifying Two Badder as one of those youngsters as well, but there's an energy there. There's an anger there which has to be harnessed in such a way that we can use it for our liberation. Because a lot of us think that we're going to just meander into freedom. It's not going to happen. The enemy that we face is a violent and wicked demon. And this world that he has established was established over rivers of blood. Yeah. And we've got to understand that if we today are a cowardly people, if we think that we're going to be able to hide and sneak into the future and become great kings and queens all over again without facing the enemy and being prepared to fight and die if necessary in order for our children to inherit that which is ours by right, then we're never ever going to see, brothers and sisters, that which our ancestors fought, bled, and died for. We have to develop that kind of spirit that we heard coming from the young people today. But that spirit, you know, in the African tradition, we have a tradition that says, old men for counsel, young men for war. And what we have today, unfortunately, is we have a huge divide between the elders and the youth. And Bob Marley said we have to bridge that generation gap. Because as long as that gap remains, the young people are not being guided by the wisdom of the elders. And even though they have the energy to fight, they can't fight this enemy without having knowledge, wisdom, and understanding about the kind of enemy they're going up against. Because this enemy, most of his tools, most of his weapons, we may look at his big guns, we may look at his navy, we may look at his air force, we may look at his nuclear weapons, but nah, brothers and sisters, these are not the weapons that he's using against us today. The weapons he's using against us today is the television. The weapons he's using against today is the so-called media. The weapons he's using against us today is our food. I want you to hear me. Our food, the very food that we're consuming today, is quite often geared to absolutely annihilate us. The weapons that he's using against us today are mostly invisible in terms of the type of education that is being given to our children, designed to take them out of their minds and put them into an alien mind, a mind that will eliminate their ability to manifest that energy that will bring them into full and true liberation. Brothers and sisters, we today must analyze where we are and who we are. And we have to develop a real knowledge. I heard the talk today about God, and I said, wow, my brother, my elder, was really asking the question, because we were asking the same question on Friday, brother, because we have a teaching in the Nation of Islam from the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad where he asked the question, who's God?
Right.
And we're taught that that is the most important question that you could ever ask. Who is God?
That's right.
And I have to say to us, see, brothers and sisters, God is not a spook floating around somewhere. God is a real live man. And every single one of us, as we are standing here today, we have the essence of God within us. And we are part of God. And we will never be successful until we recognize that there is no help coming from the sky. There is no help coming up from the ground. There is no help coming for us other than the manifestation of God from within us. And our understanding of how God moves, how God operates. But God is not a spook. And even though the enemy has Air Force, and he has Navy, and he's got Army, and he's got all of these weapons of mass destruction, and he's now weaponized injections. You've got to understand, beloved family, that our God, who is a man, not a spook, he has the capability to deal with this enemy. And we have to understand that as spiritual beings housed in this physical reality, we have to line our minds up with this mighty God who is a living God. And we have to, as black people, as Africans, as original people, we have to get back to this sovereign unity of oneness, which is what the enemy has worked on for centuries, and it's called divide and rule. And now he has us. The elders are not with the youth. The black woman is not with the black man. Did you know that there's a huge divide between the black woman and the black man today? You can hardly find. When I see my brother and sister as a couple with their children, I'm so happy. Because today it's a rarity to actually see black couples. It's a rarity to see whole black families. And this is not by accident, this is by design. This is why now when you put on that TV, most of the adverts, you see it's mixed. Everything is mixed. This is not, you know, there was a time when you couldn't have mixed without somebody losing their life. But now mixed is the promoted thing, because that's to continue this process of divide and rule. And we have to understand that as original people, as black people, there is power in our blackness. I differ a little bit to my young brother. See, brothers and sisters, you got to understand what black is. Black is not a color. Black is the mother and father of colors. See, black is where you get everything. Do you want some energy? You got to go into the triple darkness of the earth to get energy. That's why the oil is black. That's why the coal is black. That's why the carbon is black. Everything that where you're going to generate energy is black. Even these demons, the reason why the judges wear black and they wear that black robe is because it represents power. But what they've done with black people is that they've made us to think that black is something negative. So it's a black day. You've been blackballed. You've been blacklisted. And then we fall for it and we start running away from black. But black, beloved brothers and sisters, is where you get life. And, you know, again, we're talking about in a kind of symbolic way in terms of colors. Of course, we know the white man called himself white, because he wants to make a symbolism between himself and the purity of that lack of color called white. But we know he's not white. We know that he's more gray or red, or depending on the time of the year, he changes color. But this is not a color thing. This is about being original and coming from the origin of all creation. You look in the sky, oh, what a wonderful blue sky. Go on, try and go up there and find some blue. There's no blue. When you go beyond the blue, it's pure blackness. You say the deep blue sea. Go and pick some of it up in your hand. There's no blue. because blue is formed from the color, from ether, which gives it the appearance of blue. But when you go beyond the blue, you're dealing with blackness. You want to plant something to grow and give life and bring fruits and vegetables onto the planet, you got to go into the triple darkness of the earth, blackness. You want to bring a baby onto this planet, whether the woman is black or white, triple darkness in her womb. Black is power. Black is energy, and we must not run away from our blackness. It is not a negative thing. It contains pure energy and power. And so, brothers and sisters, I really want to encourage us. You know, my brother, when he spoke like a scientist. And he's a young brother, but what did he do? He's been studying. Every single one of us today must become studious and students of life. We cannot afford to sit around just watching this television and reading these stupid things that they call newspapers, which is nothing but propaganda. See, news, N-E-W-S, north, east, west, south. In other words, it covers the whole spectrum of the information that comes to you, and it's propaganda. It's not news. Understand this. And so my brother has gone into DNA. He's gone into the origin of life. But I'll say this about the origin of life. And it's important that we understand where we live and who we live among. Because, brothers and sisters, you know, see, we've got to understand where all of our scholarship comes from. I was born on the island of Jamaica. I came here in 1967. I've only known this world and the schooling. I never really went to school, if I'm completely honest with you. I've had about 3 years of formal education my entire life. But the point is this: everything I've learned has come via a system that once enslaved us for over 400 years. And coming out of that system, they've taught us things like evolution.
That's right.
Charles Darwin, and my brother said it when he was up here, he said that there are some holes in the evolution. Because they say that we started off as an amoeba, a single cell organism, and then we evolved, and then eventually we came into a kind of tadpole kind of existence. And then we were swimming around in the ocean, we grew gills and a tail and whatever. And then one day we kind of flopped out of the ocean, landed on the sand, and we hang around there for a few million years, and then we evolved and we grew some hair. And then we ran up and jumped into a tree.
That's right.
And we started swinging around for another few million years. And then from there, we flew in a space shuttle to space. And then when you ask them, well, hold on a minute, how did you jump from that to that? And by the way, there's still monkeys and there's still apes. So how did you jump from that into sending a probe to Mars? They say, oh, well, there's a missing link. Yeah, there is a missing link, brothers and sisters. Because that story that Charles Darwin gave you of evolution, it is simply the story of the process that takes place in the womb of every woman. Did you understand? Do you understand that when a man and a woman gets together and that man deposits that sperm, in every drop of sperm, they say there may be 1 million sperm, and they are microscopic, invisible to the human eye. But if you look under the microscope, you see the sperm, they're swimming, they look like tadpoles. And they got a head and they've got a tail, but they're not intelligent, they tell you, yet when the sperm enters the female vaginal tract, the sperm swim against the gravitational pull of the earth with a predestined goal. The sperm know where to go. Well, not all of them. Some of the sperm are not too intelligent. They go off to the left and they die. Some go off to the right and they die. Some turn all the way back and may end up on your quilt. Think about it. But out of 1 billion sperm, one sperm in the hostile environment, because do you know why it's hostile? Do you understand that? She's got defense mechanisms in her body that go to war with any foreign agent that enters that arena. And these warriors inside of her, they don't play. They kill everything. But one sperm makes its way and escapes all of the killing feels that it has to maneuver and makes its way to something called an egg or ovum. And that sperm begins to beat its head against the ovum, and like a miracle, the ovum opens up and accepts the head of this sperm, and it loses its tail. And from that single cell, we're talking about Darwin's theory of evolution. From that single cell, you get a multiplication of cells going into over 6 trillion cells. And then we have what they call a fetus, because it's got no feet. An embryo, by the way, first. Embryo, then fetus. And a gradual process of growth over a period of gestation of 9 months, until you have a baby in a womb that is too small a space for that baby to occupy, and that baby begins to agitate for change. I want you to think about where we are and what we've got to do today. Because when you see that pregnant woman, sometimes she can show you the hand of the baby pushing out. She can show you the foot of the baby. It gets very uncomfortable for the sister who's pregnant in late pregnancy, because the baby is now too large for that small space and needs change. Believe it or not, in 2021, we're too large for the space that we are currently occupying, and we need change. Yes. And we've got to begin pushing for that change. You know, brothers and sisters, the baby is feet first in the womb. Feet first. And if the baby is born feet first, it's called a breech. And many women have died over the years having breech birth because it's extremely dangerous. But at a certain point in time, the baby turns and the head is engaged. And I'm saying that because, see, some of us, beloved, in order for us to have effective leadership, whoever stands before us to lead us, and my sister said in her introduction of me that I'm one of the leaders. I'm not one of the leaders. I'm one of the students. I'm one of the baby students. Okay, I'm happy to be a student, because we have too many people want to jump in front of us to declare themselves leaders. But we have to ask ourselves, where are you leading us? And many of our so-called leaders, they've been led by their feet. It is a foot thing that we're following, and a money thing or some other foolishness that we follow. But anybody who's going to stand in front of you, you need to examine their head. And their head must have a relationship with their heart.
Come on.
You can't have somebody in front of you who says one thing and does another. You can't have this contradiction in terms where people, they have a particular spirit. You meet people and the spirit is funky. The spirit is filthy. Yet you're going to let that person be your leader? Come on, man. You got to think about what a leader really is. The baby's head turns and the head becomes engaged. And brothers and sisters, you know something? I'm telling you, man, I mean, you know, I've witnessed the birth of at least 6 of my children. I have 9. I've delivered 4 of them myself without the agency of any midwife, just me and my wife in the room. And then we do everything. We cut the cord, we tidy the baby up, wash the baby, and then we call those devils.
Dr. Mohammed.
Because they're not injecting us with no vitamin K. 26 years ago, when one of my children was born, the woman, the midwife, was in the bedroom. We made her redundant. Me and my wife, we said, we're going to take care of this. And she was vexed. And she sat in our bedroom while we gave birth in the living room. And then when the baby came out, the woman came into the living room and she pulled out a big needle out of her bag and squirted a liquid. And I said to her, what's that? She said, oh, this is vitamin K, just in case your baby's blood is not clotting properly. I said, no, you can stick that in yourself. It's not going in my baby.
That's right.
And that child to this day has never had an injection.
Come on.
And she's strong and she's fit and she's energetic. We've got to be very careful with these people wanting to inject our children.
Yes.
You see, because tremendous harm is being done to us and our children.
Yes.
Beloved brothers and sisters, If you speak to women who have given birth, and by the way, there is not a woman who has ever given birth. Is everybody all right? Are you okay?
Come on.
There's not a woman who's ever given birth who doesn't get to a stage in that labor where she says, I can't do this. Every woman to give birth to new life comes close to death. And she says at a certain point, I don't think I can do this. Sometimes she looks at the husband or the one who has made her pregnant, and she's looking at him like, you're never ever gonna come near me again. The pain. My wife, she squeezed my hand so hard, she became like a superwoman. I thought she was gonna break my hand. Because that's how tremendous this pain is. And if you speak to her, she can't even describe it. I remember a sister, when another sister became pregnant, and she was asking my wife, what's the pain like? And my wife said, honey, I can't tell you. You're just gonna have to experience that one for yourself, because it's actually indescribable. But if you can talk to the mother, she can tell you a horror story about what she goes through to give birth. But if you could talk to the baby could tell you an even greater horror story. When the baby comes out, oftentimes the head is bruised, the shoulders are bruised. To push through that narrow birth canal, it's painful. And this is why the baby cries. You don't need to be slapping up no baby after they've been born. Baby is oftentimes in agony. The bones of the head is so soft that they will overlap one another just to be able to come small and come out. This is the process of birth. And there is no birth that is not accompanied by pain and blood. Brothers and sisters, do you know that right now, as we stand here, as we speak, that the black world, the new world, the world that you and I and our ancestors have been praying for is about to come to birth? That we are living in our time and we are going through birth pangs of a brand new nation coming in. But you cannot have that nation without pain and blood. And when you see our young people stabbing and shooting one another and some of the things going on in this world, it is the birth pangs of a brand new world order coming in.
Changing of the God.
Let me conclude by saying this, brothers and sisters. If you talk to that baby, man, that baby can tell you a story. But I want you to think about something. Because I know some of us here, you know, we might think, oh, well, yeah, that's a good speech. It's nice, whatever. But I'm really trying to talk to you about you. I'm really trying to talk to you about you. It has been said today that we are gods. And I know that I'm a God. I want you to understand. See, I know when I look in the mirror, I know what I'm looking at. But guess what? I've looked at some of you today. All of you today. And when I look at you, I know who I'm looking at too. I know I'm looking at God. Whether you're female or male, I know I am looking at God. And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who's our leader and teacher in the Nation of Islam, he says, when I see you coming, I start bowing because I see God. How do I know you're a God? Because, brothers and sisters, see, I don't gamble, I'm a Muslim. And you know, I wish we had time to really explain what that is, because Muslim isn't Pakistani. Muslim is not Arab. Muslim is not Afghanistan. Muslim is none of these surface things that we think a Muslim is, walking around with a long dress and a kufi on his head, or using a mishwak, or speaking Arabic. Muslim is the very nature of the black man and the black woman. Muslim is one who is just full of peace, love, honor, and respect. Not what because people claim religion, don't they? I'm a Christian, I'm a Muslim, I'm a Rasta, I'm this and that. But then what's their actions? See, because it's not what we say, it's what we do. That's what you've got to look at. But let me conclude by saying this to you, beloved family. Every one of you in this garden of our dear sister is extremely special. There is not one of us here who has not been chosen. I said to my brother earlier on, I commended him because of his child who is here today in the chair. I commended him because this child is special. this child, even though on the surface we might think, oh, you know, oh, poor thing or something like that. Let me tell you something. He's born, he's here for a greater purpose than what any of us know. And I was commending my brother and I commend my sister, because what you do in raising the child and maintaining that child and loving that child and persevering through all the difficulties and hardship demonstrates the value of this child and why this child was allowed to come to birth. Every one of us is special. I want you to understand that out of 1 billion sperm who died, I'm not a betting man, see? But if I was to bet you, the first thing you'd want to know is, Leo, what's the odds on the bet? And if I tell you that the odds on the bet is 200 to 1 or 50 to 1, chances are you're going to keep your money in your pocket because those odds are too great. You're here in this garden today, having come through odds of over 1 billion to 1. All of those sperm that perished, only one survived, and you're standing here today. What that means is that you were chosen from the womb of your mother to be here. And you were chosen not by your mother, you were chosen by God. In the womb with you was God. And you're here for a purpose greater than anything that you're currently doing. And that's what we've got to find out. What is our purpose in this life? Because every one of us has a purpose bigger than what we're currently doing. And I'm saying, brothers and sisters, find out your purpose. Your little brother Leo Muhammad here, I found my purpose. I was born from the womb of my mother to do what I'm doing in front of you right now. I am an advocate for black people. I will die with my boots on. I don't give a damn what the enemy brings. I have no fear whatsoever for anything that they threaten to do or want to do. Teach, brother, teach. Because this is my destiny. And every one of you has to determine what is your destiny. And then become a soldier in that destiny, a soldier of God, a soldier of the Creator. And those of you who, you want to say, oh, I don't know about this God thing. Let me tell you something. There is not one of you in this place who does not know God. Let me tell you about God. Break it down. There's times in our lives when we want to do some foolishness. Some of us want to do some filthiness. Let's talk to the men in particular as brothers. When you got that sister and she's declared undying love for you, and we told her that we love her back. Somebody I cut the mic. Them know I hear this part. I'm going to conclude. And we told her sister. She said, I love you, baby. And we say, yeah, I love you too, honey. And then we say to her, okay, I'm just going to pop out. I'm going to go around the corner. I'm going to go and get that thing that you wanted. But we're going to see the other woman. But when we make that decision, a voice inside always says, without fail, the voice inside says, don't do it. See, did you know that when we sneak around in the night, do you know that's not what a real man does? Do you know that if you have to shimmy up a drain pipe into somebody's bedroom, do you know that's the behavior more of a rat or some nocturnal creature? That's not what men do. A real man always walks through a front door. A real man is always up front. But any time you have to be ducking and diving, sneaking around to go and see somebody, nocturnal creature. And so the voice always tells you, don't do it. Some of you love McDonald's. Don't say you don't.
Matt Devils.
Some of you love McNasties. Our Ken Dotty.
Or Burger King.
And we eat Murder King and we eat Mac Victims. And we eat all of these things that are processed by somebody's kitchen that we know nothing about. And sometimes when you're about to put that thing in your mouth, a pang of guilt comes up because you don't really know where this thing comes from. You know that this thing is not good for you. You know that this thing always makes you feel a bit funny after you consume it, but we keep eating. But that feeling that you have, that voice that speaks to you from within, that's the voice of God. And every time you still that voice, you are murdering God.
In you.
And if you keep doing it, where you no longer have conscience, where you no longer hear the voice, you are now deaf, dumb, and blind to the reality of God within. My brother said when he was up here, this is your temple. If you want to know where God lives, this is where he lives. That's why we have what's called intellect. Intellect, intelligence that's within. That's why women, and both women and men, but they often attribute it to women, they have what's called intuition. Intuition. They know something from within because it's an inner tutor, an inner teacher. That's the God within, and he will never allow us to go wrong without warning us first. And so we have to once again develop to learn to listen to that voice. Listen to the voice within. That voice within will never lead you wrong. And so in my conclusion, my dear brothers and sisters, every one of us here is special because we came through odds of 1 billion to 1. So that was before we had hands, before we had feet. All we had was a head and a tail, a sperm. Today we got hands, today we got feet, today we got eyes, today we got cars, today we got house, today we got money, today we got all of these material things. And any one of us who sits around saying, oh man, this is tough, man, I can't do this.
Shut up.
Be quiet and fix yourself up. Because if we could survive under those circumstances, this is a walk in the park. And how we will really win, brothers and sisters, is now by joining forces with one another. If you think one sperm is strong, let me tell you something, man. When we come together, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that the unity of black people is more powerful than a nuclear weapon.
That's right.
That's how powerful our unity is. And if you disbelieve me, you got to understand why the enemy works so hard
Break us up.
to keep us divided, man. And keep us arguing and fighting over trivia and foolishness, labels. We are taught in the Nation of Islam that we have to become as wise as the drunk man. How wise is the drunk man? The drunk man is so wise that he's not interested in the label on the bottle. Him just want to get drunk.
The content.
So whether it's whiskey, whether it's rum, even methylated spirit, just give me the drink, man.
Give me the top.
He's bypassing the label and going to the content. Don't look at me, oh, yeah, but he's a Muslim. Stop it. Stop it, I'm your brother.
That's right.
You're my sister. We're family. That's who we really are.
Blood of blood.
And so, beloved family, I really want to thank you. I hope that Sister Trisha is not discouraged by today. And I hope that she will continue to organize here. And when we get the phone call, we'll be right back in Nottingham. And we want the people to come out so that we can start to build a community in Nottingham.
That's right.
And we're not strangers and we're not distant. We are on the telephone. We got some flyers over there. Pick up a flyer, one of our flyers, so that you know our number, so that you know our email address, so that you can scan the barcode, that you can visit our website, and so that you can invite us whenever you're doing anything, and so that you can look at what we're doing, and that you can become a participant in our meetings that we currently have online. And then when we have more meetings in the public physically, you should attend and we can share together. And the last thing I want to say is, any one of you up here who wants to start your own study group of the Nation of Islam, contact us and let us know, and we will come and help you to build. Because what we're about in the nation is this: we need soldiers. We need an army. We need sister soldiers and brother soldiers. We need brothers and sisters who are unafraid to put themselves on the front line for the masses of our people. We must do this. We must do this. If we don't do this, then we can never ever force the enemy to back up off of our people.
That's right.
We can't beg him. We can't ask him to legislate. None of that stuff changes anything.
Unity.
It's only our unity which he will respect. It's only us moving and forging together that he will respect in time. And so, brothers and sisters, I really thank you for allowing me this opportunity to speak to you. I pray that something that was said today, not necessarily from me, but from any of the other speakers, from any of the other edutainers who came here and gave you word, sound, and power. I pray that something was said that has pricked your conscience, that has touched you in your heart, made you to stimulate your mind into a deeper thought. I pray that something has helped you to move from this place today a little higher, 1 degree higher, in knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, in thoughtfulness, and I pray that we will continue the process until we are all ultimately a free people again. We are not free right now. We are all of us in bondage, all of us caught up wage slaves, and those of us who are unemployed, even worse condition. Let us come together, let us build together. You are the most precious, the most beautiful people on this planet as black men and women. Thank you for listening. May the Creator bless you as I greet you, as I found you in peace. Assalamu alaikum.
With you here by my side. No disrespect, because you're my Nation of Islam brothers, and this love goes out to everybody. You just said you wanted people to build an army of soldiers for the Nation of Islam.
Not for the Nation of Islam, for black people.
For black people. Because what it is, like for me, I'm just saying, it's from all walks of life, and I think that's what divides people. It doesn't matter if you're a Rastafari, it doesn't matter if you're Christian, if you're Nuwabian, Nation of Islam, whatever you are, we are people. And it's about the spirit of the people. We are all children of the Most High. And I think for a time like this, like I said before, yes, we've all got our own beliefs, groups, Nation of Islam, respect, Christianity, respect, everybody. But it's come to a time where we have to come on one goal, one aim, together in unity. So I just wanted to touch on that because I heard you say, Nation of Islam needs soldiers.
The Nation of Islam, our whole fight is for our people. That's what the nation does. The Nation of Islam is not about anything other than the complete liberation of the totality of our people. If you remember, as I began, whether we say Allah, whether we say Jah, whether we say Jehovah, whether we say Yahweh, it's irrelevant. These are labels. We must get beyond the labels and recognize we're family.
Yeah, and that's what.
When I'm speaking to you, I'm speaking to my sister.
Yes, but like I'm saying, it's not just for today when we do events. It's for always. It's for every day that we wake. We are one people. So it's not just like, we've got this meeting today, we go away and we don't see Nation of Islam again. We must see Nation of Islam every day amongst us. Rastas, whatever we are, we're one people. And that's what we need to do. Come together, one unity, one spirit, one accord. That's right. Thank you, people.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
For touching our family. Thank you.
Thank you, sister.
Bless you so
Thank
much
you
for the
for
wisdom
your,
you've given us.
for your wonderful,
wonderful people. Oh my gosh. Brother Leo Mohammed, please put your hands together again for our brother. Come on. The thing is, right, we as a people, we find it very easy to disagree with each other. What we need to do is find the common ground where we agree to agree. Okay? Forget the agree to disagree. Let's agree to agree. Okay? In fact, can we just say this right now? Agree to agree.
Agree to agree.
Again, agree to agree.
Agree to agree.
Agree to agree.
Agree to agree.
Now I want you to say, don't hate, elevate.
Don't hate, elevate.
I can't hear you.
Don't hate, elevate.
I really can't hear you.
Don't hate, elevate.
Okay, we're gonna love. Because when we love, we elevate.
We say more love.
More love. More peace. More bliss.